Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Gabrielle Ray and I post cases of missing persons, the unidentified, and unsolved homicides. Today I'll be presenting the missing persons case of Rosemary Hamilton Buck, who's been missing since August 11th, 1973 out of Syracuse, New York. She was born on July 2nd, 1953. She is a white female who stands at 5'2" and weighs 110 pounds, with hazel eyes and blonde hair. Her nickname is Mary, and she was last seen wearing a white coat and blue jeans. She has a scar on her abdomen and discoloration on her right leg, which was a birthmark. And she has previous hospitalizations for mental health issues, and she had a possible alcohol problem at the time of her disappearance. She was 20 years old at the time of her disappearance. She left behind a 2-year-old son named Ronnie, who was legally adopted by his grandparents in Florida. She frequented the now-defunct Yellow Balloon Bar on Thompson Road near Erie Boulevard East in 1973. She was originally from Salina, and she frequented rock concerts and was considered a rock groupie. The Yellow Balloon Bar was more of a music venue, and it changed its name to the Lost Horizon in 1971, 2 years prior to her disappearance, but they still called it the Yellow Balloon, just out of, similarities, and they're so used to it being the name. She told friends that she planned to go to Boston, Massachusetts to meet a male friend. She did have some mental problems and struggled with alcohol, and her husband was incarcerated for breaking and entering. She was worried that CPS would take away her son, and she dropped out of high school at 16 years old. She planned to complete her education and start nurses training, and she was last seen by her mother at her apartment at 1102 Wolf Street. She'd been up most of the previous night before her disappearance crying and had been trying to get her life together. She told her mother that she was exhausted and that she'd run away if CPS continued to harass her. She asked her mother, please fight for Ronnie if that happened. Her mom left, taking Ronnie with her, and when she returned, Rosemary was not there, and she had never been seen or heard from again. Her last seen whereabouts were when she was hitchhiking at the corner of 6th North Street and Wolf Street at noon. Her downstairs neighbor said that she had last seen her hitchhiking and getting on the back of a motorcycle. A couple years after her disappearance, her sister-in-law, her brother's wife, received a bizarre phone call while living in Texas. 2 female callers claimed to be from Cleveland, and one of the women told the other, watch what you say, and don't give your name. The caller knew things that only Rosemary would know about her family, and there was no indication of what the caller wanted. Loved ones theorized that she left to avoid difficulties in her life initially, but now believe that she could have met with foul play. No activity has been on her Social Security number since 1973. Ronnie only has vague memories of his mother and is eager to find out what happened. She does not match any unidentified bodies in New York State, and when a Web Sleuths user spoke with the Syracuse Police Department Cold Case Unit, they told the user that she was found dead on an Indian reservation in New York, but they couldn't follow up on if this claim was true and if there were updates. And apparently, according to Carol Schwelzer from NamUs, she was ruled out being any unidentified body from New York. She had a paycheck for $100 and some change, and that's a lot of money at the time of her disappearance, claimed Rosemary's niece. Her family knew that she did intend to pick up her son, and the Solvay Police Department initially handled the case until they disbanded. The family believes that she is not alive anymore, and 30-plus cases had been ruled out of being her. But contrary to her not being any of the unidentified bodies, she could be one Jane Doe killed by Samuel Little because, quote-unquote, the victim was from the Massachusetts area, had a child, and recently celebrated the divorce from her husband. And though the year was 1 year off, it is possible that this could be her. It's not like her to leave without telling us, and she never picked up a $106 check, said her mom, Mary Hamilton. It is believed that she was heading to a bar and was picked up from there. Rosemary would be 68 years old today. Unfortunately, that is all the information that I could attain on Rosemary Hamilton Buck. But it seems to me that somebody somewhere knows what happened. And not to mention that unidentified body that Samuel Little had killed sounds eerily similar to her, even though she isn't from Massachusetts, but she was heading up to the Massachusetts area. And on account of her saying that she was going to run away if CPS did not leave her alone, it makes me think that there is a chance that she is still alive somewhere and did just run away from all the difficulties in her life. Her husband was incarcerated. CPS was bothering her. She had a problem with alcohol. She had problems with her mental health. She may have wanted to leave it all behind and just start a new life. And that is the best case scenario. And hopefully one day her son can find closure and some kind of answers to what happened. And I'd love to get in contact with him if, one day he sees this video. Because there's a lot of unanswered questions as to her disappearance. And I'm sure he wants to know as well. If you or anybody you know have any information on this case, please contact the Syracuse Police Department at 315-442-5111. Her name is case number is MP7592, and her agency case number is 05-328624. Once again, Miss Buck has been missing out of Syracuse, New York, since August 11th, 1973. Her date of birth is July 2nd, 1953. She is a white female who stands at 5'2" and weighs 110 pounds, with blonde hair and hazel eyes. It's been decades since there has been any tips, leads, clues to this case, and it breaks my heart for the family and for her friends, because evidently she had a life before this. She had a personality, and we don't know anything about it, and we really don't know much about her disappearance either. And if we could identify the man that she got on the back of the motorcycle with, maybe we could, get some more momentum in this case, get it going a little bit more. But we really, really need help from the public to solve this case, and I beg you, if you have any information, please contact the numbers that I have listed, and I will also list in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful night.